What's going on, guys? SwitchBrew here, and welcome back to another Nintendo Switch tutorial. So basically in this video tutorial, what I'm going to be showing you how to do is how to dump firmware basically. So for example, if Nintendo release an update, so say for example they release the next update, which is 16.2.0, and Atmosphere and Hecate gets updated, but you cannot get access to the update files from a website and you need them ASAP, then I'm going to be showing you how to dump the following files. So to dump the following files, what you would have to do first is in stock firmware on your Nintendo Switch or in official firmware, what you would need to do is update to the latest version. So for example, if Nintendo did release 16.2.0, you would update to that in official firmware, and then what you do is use Tegra Explorer to dump the firmware. So the first thing we'll need to do is we'll need to dump our product keys using Lockpick if you haven't done so already, and you will also need to get Tegra Explorer.bin. I will provide both links in the video description for both of the files. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug my Switch into the computer and we'll transfer the following files across. So bear with me, guys, while I plug in my Nintendo Switch to the PC, and then we'll go from there. So guys, as you can see, I've now got my Nintendo Switch plugged into the computer via a USB cable, and I am using the SD-UMS system in Hecate to mount my Switch to the PC. You guys can either use this or you can physically take the memory card out of your Switch and plug it into the computer. It's entirely up to you. So once we're in here, what you want to do is go ahead and head over to the bootloader folder. You want to go to payloads and you want to drag Tegra Explorer and Lockpick into the following folder. Obviously I already had Lockpick because I have used it before, however I'm just going to replace it for the purpose of this video. So once you've got these two files in here, what you can do is go ahead and take out your SD card from your PC, or in my case I'm going to go to eject UMS in the bottom right hand corner and pull out the USB cable from my Nintendo Switch. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to be showing you guys how to dump your keys, because if you don't dump your keys when launching Tegra Explorer, it seems to have a fit and says that it needs the product keys. So what we're going to do is switch over to the phone camera. I'll dump the product keys. We'll then use Tegra Explorer to dump the actual firmware. So bear with me while I switch over onto the iPhone camera. So guys, as you can see, we're now over on the Nintendo Switch console. So the first thing I'm going to do is head over to payloads, and I'm going to launch the file called lockpick_rcm.bin. Once in here, what I'm going to do is spin my Switch 90 degrees clockwise, because this is how the following software portrays on the actual Switch console. So if I try and get a close-up here, what we're going to do is go ahead and press the power button on dump from SysNAND. And what that's going to do is it's going to start dumping the keys. Once it's complete, it says press volume up to save a screenshot or any other button to continue. So I'm just going to go ahead and press the power button, and that's going to bring us back to the main menu. What I'm going to then do is scroll down with the volume minus key down to reboot to Hecate. So I'm going to have to go back up one, bear with me a second, and I'm going to go ahead and press the power button once again. Once I've pressed the power button, this is now booted obviously back into Hecate. What we then want to do is go ahead and go, I'm just going to reload the console just in case that the product keys have, something's gone wrong. I'm just going to reload the console just to ensure that it's working. I'm then going to go to payloads once again, and go to Tegra Explorer.bin. What this is then going to do is it's going to come up with a message saying grabbing product keys from product.keys, and it says done. A little vibration will happen, and you just want to go ahead and press A, and it should take you to the main menu. Now at the main menu, firstly what you want to do is you want to go down to browse eMMC and press the A button on it, and then what you can do is go ahead and go back to the main menu. Then want to scroll down to the firmware dump.te, and you want to go ahead and press the A button. Once you've pressed the A button, it should say that the firmware and the stock firmware is on 16.1, for example, and the custom firmware of mine is on 16.1. And what you want to do is go ahead and click the dump sysmmc button. What this is then going to do is it's going to start backing up all the firmware files. So what I'm going to do is end the video here. Once this is completed, I'll switch back over to the computer and I'll show you guys that it's dumped the following firmware. So just before we switch over to the computer, as you can see, vaguely, my camera don't like to focus on stuff like this, but it just said done and how long it's taken. So what we're going to do now is just go ahead and press the power button. It's going to bring you back to the main menu of Tegra Explorer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up, to reboot to bootloader. I'm going to go ahead and press the A button. And what that's going to do is it's going to fire me back into Hecate, so I can go ahead and plug my USB cable in and open my switch back up on the computer. So what we're going to do now, guys, is switch over to the PC and I'm going to show you the following firmware files that have been dumped. So bear with me while I switch across. See you over there. So as you can see, we're now back over on the computer. I have hooked up my switch to the PC and mounted the SD card. So what you want to do is scroll down and you should see a folder called Tegra Explorer. If you go into the following folder and go into firmware, as you can see, we've now got a dump of the 16.1.0 firmware. So yeah guys, that's basically how you dump firmware on your Nintendo Switch console. Like I said, this is for when new updates are available. So if, for example, like I said before, if Microsoft, if Nintendo decided to release, for example, 16.2.0 and Atmosphere and Hecate had been updated, but you couldn't get hold of the firmware files, what you could do is update your official firmware or stock firmware first, and then you could use Tegra Explorer to dump the following firmware files, which then can be used in Daybreak to update the custom firmware. So yeah guys, thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment and subscribe and press that bell notification to find out when I'm uploading. Peace out, see you in the next one.